I'm Richard Buford of Adrenaline Rush Sports and Fitness, and this is the Adrenaline Rush Sports and Fitness podcast. With this podcast, what I'm going to do is get rid of all of the questions that I can that you have as an athlete trying to develop and get faster, get stronger. When I was younger, I used to ask people like, what should I do to get faster? They'll tell me vague answers like, you got to take the right steps. So what does taking the right steps mean? But now in my position, I know what taking the right steps mean, and that is a lot to handle as far as like taking the right steps. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to break down how to take the right steps in corresponding podcast episodes, and also take you along the journey of how you should do your strength with your running training, and how to mesh that together to make a better athletic performance. We're going to start this first episode off with how to come out of the blocks correctly. So the biggest mistake that people will make is trying to get to top speed off of your first 3 or 4 steps. That is not what you want, because you can only really maintain your top speed about 20 to 30 meters, okay? So some of that you're accelerating, some of that you're transitioning, and then top speed. And then the thing is that it's not who's fastest at the line, is who can decelerate less going towards the finish line over the distance. And that is what speed is defined as. It's about who can decelerate the slowest, if I could put that in terms. So you should understand that, but this is how you get faster. You'll have steps how to run down the straightaway, even in 100. People just think, oh, that's easy. But there are steps to do it. There are strategies to do this. So what I'm going to treat you is a couple of strategies, starting with the starting blocks coming out. So what I'm going to do first is set up the starting block. And I know a lot of people know this, but a basic way is to put your heel on the line and then put the block down. So 1, 2. And what that is going to do is give you a little bit more balanced support coming out of the block. And 1, 2, 3. Good. So I'm going to straighten that block out a little bit right there. Now we're ready. Our block is set up. Now let's get into how you should come out of the blocks, your first 5 steps. All right, as I mentioned before, you don't want to get top speed out of your first 3 steps. Depending on how strong you are, and actually you have to test on how strong you are to come out of the blocks. Just don't come out of the blocks in like 5th grade, all right? There's a process, there's a certain strength that you have to have. So if there's an advantage to coming out of the blocks, use it. And what you can do is just set up a cone and just time yourself in the blocks, time yourself standing up out of the blocks. See what works for you. And remember, anything that I'm teaching you because this is my methods, all right? There's other methods, there are higher methods, there's lower methods, but things are going to work for you if you start with what I'm trying to teach you first, if you don't know, all right? So what you're gonna do is get into the blocks, and your first 3 steps are actually going to be like bounds, okay? So when you come out of the blocks, I'm just casually getting up. You want to come up right here and push out, push out, push out. If you have great strength, you can do this up to 5 steps. But the thing is, on average, it's going to be about 3, okay? After 3, you have to start transitioning into your acceleration, all right? So the first 3 to 5 steps are going to be power steps, okay? And this is for the 100. Now, I ran hurdles. My first 4 steps were power, and then I was a 7-stepper. So I'll take first 4 steps, and then the next 3 steps, and then be over the hurdle, all right? That's actually a rarity that somebody's a 7-step hurdler, and I found that out late. So again, this is why I'm having the podcast, all right? So your first 3 steps are going to be powering out, and then transitioning, all right? So let's get into the blocks and show how your first steps should be. So again, when you're coming out of the blocks, your first 3 to 5 steps should be power steps. I'm just casually getting into the blocks right here, putting my hands up on the line. Then right there, leaning forward, and I'll teach all of this later. Come up, push off, push off, push off. Drive your arms as you're doing this because your arms are going to help get your legs faster. And that's the fastest way to get faster, is actually swing your arms faster. All right? If you want to be powerful, your arms got to move powerfully. All right? For however many steps that you're going to take coming out of the blocks. All right, let's show you how you should set yourself in the blocks basically. All right? There's different ways. People have their toes on the ground. So some people come into the blocks with their toes on the ground. Some people come with their both feet off the ground. But of course you have to have spikes on, not just have tennis shoes on. But what you should do is put your hands on the line. And also, nothing can go ahead of the white line. All right, so your fingertips, you have to turn your hands to the side, and you have to create some strength in your hands to hold them in like a little pyramid. All right. After that, some people have them flat, but like I said, anything that I tell you, do what works for you. So you can set your hands flat, or you can, if you have that hand strength, you can put your hands in a little, tripod position. All right. So lean forward as much as your strength will tell you, because if you start right here with your shoulders behind the line, you're already behind in the race. So the more you can lean forward and then come up and not want to rock back, you're going to be in a better position to come in first. All right. You don't want to start last and being last and you're not even moving yet. All right. So you want to rock forward. You got to have the shoulder strength, shoulders down and back, contract your abdominals, and then you come up, and then that's when you push out and driving your arms. Okay. So that's basically how your block setup is going to be. I'll show you how to start on the curve because it's a little bit different, but I'll show you that, and then that'll conclude our episode today. Here is the 200-meter start lane, and this is lane 6 just to give you an effect. So you see on the inside of lane 6 where the curve come out at the most, that's where you want to point the front of your starting block to, and have your back of your starting block tilted more towards lane 7. All right, so you want to have a little angle. Now, that being said, your hand position is not going to be straight across the line. The hand that's closer to lane 7 is going to be on the line, and the hand closer to lane 5 is going to be off of the line. So the strategy here is to run straight into the inside of the lane. When you're running on the curve, you want to stay inside of the curve, and that is going to be the shortest distance in the race, because your 200 meters is measured from the inside of the curve, not the outside. So if you run outside, it's going to be a little bit more distance. All right. So if this is the furthest furthest out that the curve comes, if I walk a straight line, I should walk straight into my blocks. Okay. If I'm walking a straight line into my blocks, I should be able to walk into it. All right. So that's how you know that you're on the inside. And plus, when you take your practice starts, you should come out, and on the inside of the lane should be your natural path. You don't have to do anything because your blocks put you in that path. So I'll just show you from right here how it goes, and then I'll show you my hand placement later. So you're gonna have your outside lane hand up on the line, inside lane hand off the line. All right. Then you're gonna same thing, come up, get set, same power steps, boom, boom, boom. See how to put me on the inside of the lane. So you want to be a natural getting to the inside of the lane, because that's where your shortest race is going to be for the 200 meters. So again, your hand placement, I'm just casually getting into the blocks, but this hand is going to be on the line, and then this hand is going to be off the line. All right, so there's a little bit of distance in between, and then you're going to lean forward, come up, come out. So this concludes your starting block tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions, and let me know which portion of the race would you like next. So that concludes the starting block episode. Next, we will go over the transitioning for the 100 meter technique, as far as like the different stages that you should hit. But let me know if you have any questions in between time. You can contact me on my social media. It's at ARush Sports on everything, and I'm at arushonline.com on the web.